I remember when I found out about one of these fears that I had. I knew that, like most people, I had a fear of failure. I didn't want to fail. But when I worked with this coach one time, I had also a fear of success. And I didn't realize it until she asked me, what are you afraid of? Like, if you were to put yourself out there, if you were to be really successful in what you actually want to do, and I thought about this and I thought, wow, actually, I was so afraid for people to judge me if I was successful, for, the friends that I had that we'd often complain about our lives together. I thought, they won't even want to hang out with me anymore if I had a great life and I had nothing to complain about. And, this is so often what we're talking about when we talk about your environment and we talk about, the people that you're around, the people that you're around and the ones that you're listening to and picking up cues from are the ones that are going to determine what you actually get to have. Those are going to be the ideas and the beliefs that you develop. And if you just allow yourself to develop these beliefs by default, meaning that you're not actively creating your mindset, you're not actively getting embodied into your powerful energy, the default of your mindset is not going to be too great because we just live in a world right now where there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of false beliefs about yourself, about the world, about society, and these can be really hard and you can really struggle as an individual if you don't have the right support in how to really tap into your power. I have a client who is so amazing. And when she first started working with me, she had this dream of starting an online business. And she was really scared to put herself out there because she was really afraid of what people might think of her. And so she thought that she needed to get everything perfect before she was able to start, right? And what happened was she didn't end up starting before coming to work with me because she never felt perfect. She never felt like she had everything all lined up. And when you work with me, this is one of the first things I teach you. It is not about perfection. Like, if you are waiting for perfection to start, you're going to wait forever. And this is also a very toxic thing that they teach in society as well, and a thing that you might find in your relationships, where you're really seeking perfection and you can never really seem to find it. So you never pass go, you do not start ever. And this can be, a really toxic thing that happens where you never even get into a relationship, or you never end a relationship that needs to be ended because you're just stuck, right? You're stuck in the waiting for perfection to happen before you make a move. We worked together on this, and I said to her, what is it that you need to feel ready? And, do you really need to be this perfect before you begin? There was some resistance at first. After a little bit, she said, I really do desire to begin. I've wanted to begin this for a really long time now. And, I've just felt scared. And part of that was a fear around success as well as a fear around failure. But these two often go hand in hand. They're like the other end of the stick. When you have one thing, you typically have the opposite as well. And so when we're talking about beginning, like, let's say putting yourself out there in an online business, for instance, or getting into a relationship before you feel ready, right? Because feeling ready might not ever come for anything in life. This is what it means to become deeper embodied, right? Where you're not waiting for the proof before you begin. You're actually creating the proof yourself, right? You're not waiting for the perfect relationship. Instead, you're creating the perfect environment within yourself for the relationship that's perfect to come through, right? And nothing's ever perfect anyways, but just for sake of this conversation, perfect in your ideal, right? Perfect is your ideal. And so you create the ideal conditions within yourself first for that to come through. Same thing with the business. Like, you create the conditions, you do the thing over and over again, which creates confidence. It creates expertise and know-how and embodiment, right? It is the same thing as going to the gym. You wouldn't say, oh, I can't go to the gym because I'm not ready yet. I can't start working out because I'm not perfect yet. It's like, yeah, that's the point, right? Like, that is the whole point. The same thing with starting the business, the same thing with getting into a relationship. Like, you can never make it perfect if you don't start it, and you make it perfect or ideal by doing it over and over and over again and being consistent and being committed and being a yes to yourself, right? And it doesn't mean you're perfect. I am certainly not perfect. I mess up all the time, right? I go into negative thought patterns often, not as often, but I do as well. And this is why I have support, right? This is why I've done such deep work so that I don't feel like I'm starting over when these things happen, or I don't feel like I can't have what I want just because I'm going into some kind of old patterning. Like, that's just not true. I still get to have what I want no matter what, right? No matter what. And this is an embodiment. This is a practice. This is something that if you don't already think like this and feel like this, it's probably not going to happen overnight, right? It's probably going to take a little bit of time to rewire you in a different way, no longer the wiring of just what you've been given, what you've defaulted to, but really consciously day after day after day, going back into it. And this is what we're going to be up to in Awaken Your Power. This is a 4-week-long course. I've added a bonus call, so it is now a whole month. You get weekly calls as well as a private Facebook group for daily support. And this is my high-level mentorship. So if you're wanting to transform your relationships from the inside out and start putting yourself out there in a way that feels really fucking authentic and really fucking good and powerful, you need this. You need to be in this. You want this level of support because it's going to change your life, especially if you've been trying to do it on your own. And you've gotten even progress doing that, right? Now is the time for you to up level and for you to go even deeper and for you to be seen in what you're going through, right? Especially because it's not perfect yet. Like, this is the time for you to get vulnerable and be seen and be guided and allow yourself to be supported, right? This is how successful people work. They allow themselves to be supported over and over and over again, especially when it's uncomfortable. And so, this is no different than starting going to the gym, right? You don't say like, oh, I'm not ready to start working out, like because I'm not perfect yet. No, like, you go day after day after day, and week after week and month after month, and then perfection or your ideal form starts to take place. This is like anything else. And on top of that, if you're somebody who shows up at the gym and has no idea what to do when you're there, or the thing that you've been doing and you've been taught to do no longer is working for you, that is when you get to push yourself, right? You get to hire somebody that knows what they're doing. You join a class or a group that is new and more challenging for you, right? This is the same in relationships, and it's the same in business. Like, we reach these plateaus, we reach these levels where we get to, and then it feels like it's almost like you're going backwards from that point, right? When you've reached the plateau, if you can't break through, what often happens is you start to sink back down. And so what my support does for you is it helps you to actually break through in those moments when you normally go back into old patterns, right? I've got you, we've got you. We work together to really look at these things and figure out what it is. Like, for me, it was fear of success, right? For you, it might be something else. And this was something I wasn't conscious of, right? I had somebody help me point this out and really understand what it was, right? That fear of judgment and really that fear of alienation, that fear of being alone. Like, that's what it really was, right? It wasn't actually what it looked like. And so when you are just by yourself on your own doing these things, you have a really limited perspective. I mean, truly you do, because you can only see what you can see. So if you're in the kind of default negativity that people of this world are so often in, like, to no fault of your own, it's like programmed all day, every day, it's going to be difficult for you to see another perspective if you don't really have somebody inside your mind with you, I know that sounds a little creepy, but truly like inside your mind with you, seeing what's going on, right? And then who's able to step by step help lead you in a different direction and in a different perspective, right? And gain that and embody that for yourself. So, this is what we're going to be up to in Awaken Your Power. Don't miss out on this. This is the best opportunity to work with me. If you have questions, just send me a DM. And if you're ready and you feel your yes already, head to the link in my bio and sign up. This is going to change your life and your relationships in ways that you probably don't even know right now. You're going to get answers to questions that you didn't even know that you had. And you're going to see a side of yourself that maybe you forgot even existed or you didn't even know existed. And I'm so excited for you to experience yourself in this way. And women in their power, you in your power is a fucking gift and gets to shine so brightly and be the thing that helps you create the life that you want.